In 1890, the city of London was no place for the poor. By daylight, it wore a mask of wealth and progress. Grand buildings rose into the smoky sky. Factories thundered. Horse-drawn carriages rattled across crowded streets. Merchants made fortunes. Politicians spoke of prosperity. But when darkness fell, the mask slipped. Another London emerged, a London hidden beneath the glow of gas lamps, a London of hunger, a London of desperation, a London where thousands of forgotten souls wandered the freezing streets with nowhere to go. No home, no family waiting by a warm fire, no bed, no safety. Only cold. Another night to survive. Every night, men, women, and children drifted through narrow alleys searching for a place to survive until dawn. Some slept beneath bridges. Others curled up in abandoned buildings or under market stalls after the crowds had gone home. Many never woke up. Winter was the city's silent executioner. It carried no weapon. It left no bloodstains. Yet years after years, it claimed countless lives. The cold crept into exhausted bodies and slowly stole their final breaths. By morning, frozen figures were discovered slumped against walls or lying motionless in forgotten corners of the city. Most received little more than a brief mention in the newspapers, if they were mentioned at all. Then came a solution so grim, it sounded less like charity and more like something from a horror story. Organizations such as the Salvation Army began offering emergency shelter for London's poorest residents. The cost was 4 pennies. For 4 pennies, a person could buy a chance to survive the night. But what awaited them was not a room, not a bed, not even a proper shelter. It was a coffin. Inside large, dimly lit buildings stood rows of narrow wooden compartments. Long boxes lined up side by side, stretching across the room like a cemetery brought indoors. Each one resembled a coffin, a place designed for the dead. The homeless climbed into them one after another. A thin blanket was often all that separated them from the bitter winter air. There was barely enough space to turn over. Barely enough space to breathe comfortably. No privacy, no dignity, no comfort, only survival. To a newcomer, the sight was horrifying. Imagine stepping through the doorway of a shelter illuminated by flickering gaslight. The smell of damp wood hangs in the air. The room is silent. Rows upon rows of coffin-shaped boxes fill the darkness. Inside them lie motionless figures. At first glance, it appears to be a morgue, a chamber filled with corpses awaiting burial. But these people are not dead, not yet. They are laborers who could not find work, widows abandoned by fortune, children with nowhere left to go, men broken by illness, unemployment, or tragedy. For them, the coffin was not a symbol of death. It was the only barrier standing between life and death. And that is where the mystery begins. Because historians continue to debate how widespread these so-called 4 penny coffins truly were. Some accounts describe them as a common feature of London's poorest districts. Others argue that the stories grew over time, blending real shelters with sensational journalism and Victorian urban legends. Photographs from the era reveal cramped wooden sleeping compartments eerily similar to coffins, yet the historical record remains incomplete. The deeper researchers dig, the more the boundary between documented fact and dark folklore begins to blur. Did thousands spend their nights inside these boxes? Did hundreds? Or did the image become larger than reality because it perfectly symbolized the horrors of Victorian poverty? No one can say with complete certainty, but one truth is beyond dispute. Victorian London was one of the wealthiest cities on earth, and at the same time, some of its citizens were so desperately poor that a wooden box was considered a privilege. Think about that. Not a house, not a room, Not a mattress, a box, a structure nearly identical to the one society reserved for the dead. Perhaps that is why this story refuses to fade into history. The Four Penny Coffins are more than a strange curiosity from another age. They are a reminder of how far human beings will go to stay alive. When survival becomes the only goal, dignity becomes a luxury, comfort becomes a dream, and a coffin can become a sanctuary. The very object meant to carry a body to the grave becomes the thing that keeps it from reaching one. Even now, somewhere in the world, people face impossible choices between misery and survival. And that leaves us with a chilling question. If the temperature was falling, if your body was exhausted, if darkness surrounded you and the only shelter available was a narrow wooden coffin waiting in the shadows, would you climb inside, or would you gamble your life against the cold? For countless forgotten souls in Victorian London, that was never a philosophical question. It was simply another night to survive. And for many of them, surviving until sunrise was victory enough.